Okay, I want to show you two different ways that you can take your weaving off the loom. Sometimes we run out of time and we just don't make it all the way to the top of the loom. This is what a finished loom looks like. It is all the way to the very tippy top. It's smaller than a fingernail's width or length from the top of the loom. This is what I consider to be finished. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to pull back a little loop around this first weft thread. Okay, or this warp thread right here. So you pull the weft back so that you have a little loop on this side and you have a tail on the other. What I like to do is take the loop and twist it, and then this one's already gone under the weft, or the weft has already gone under the warp thread here that's attached to the loom. So I'm going to take the tail end and I'm going to push it through the loop and pull it tight. Now my weft is tied to my warp. Okay, this little tail might annoy you a little bit. You can trim it off if you like. Okay, let me grab a pair of scissors and I will trim that off. You always want to make sure that the knot stays attached to your weaving, so you're cutting above the knot. So if these little tails are bothering you and you want to clean it up real quick, you want to pull the tails up. There's the knot. I'm going to cut above the knot. If I can't see the knot, I'm just going to leave a little bit of an end so that wherever that knot may be lying, I don't ever want to cut a loop. And I never, ever, ever, never cut the warp threads. Never cut the warp threads. Okay, now that this is tied off, I'm ready to pop it off the loom. It's really very simple. All I'm going to do is bend my loom just a little bit, not a lot because it's pretty hard, and grab these threads from around the back and pop them off of the little fingers. So I'm just pulling those right off. Okay, see I still have a little extra here. Not as much on the bottom because that's the direction that it was being packed. So I can kind of stretch it a little bit, pull some of that more tightly packed weaving up here to the other end where I need a little bit more density. Give it a little tug and kind of move it down. So the tighter it is, the more solid your weaving, your fabric is going to be. Okay, that's what it looks like. I'm going to go ahead, this is Dawson, so I'm going to go ahead and pull this off and stick this on his weaving so I know whose weaving that is. In my classroom, I keep the looms, you keep the weaving, so you want to turn it in to me with no name on it. Okay. Now, if you don't get all the way to the end of your loom and your weaving looks a little something more like this, you're going to still pull that back, make a loop and turn it, put the little end through the loop. Now this is a video, remember, so if you say, oh, Mrs. Atkinson, you went way too fast, you can always stop, rewind, watch it again, stop, rewind, watch it again. Okay, so that's tied off. I'm going to trim this. Now, if you have all of this space up here, there is no way that this amount of weaving is going to fill up this amount of space. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to shorten these warp threads. And what we'll do is we'll pull one loop off the loom, and then we're going to make that little loop again. See the little twist? All I did was turned it. Okay, I like to turn it so that it crosses right where my weaving is. Then I'm going to put this end through the loop. See how I'm holding this loop here? That controls where the knot goes. So I'm going to hold it down here by the weaving so that the knot is as close to the weaving as I can get it. Once I have that knot tied, this knot must be tied or your whole weaving will unravel. Once I have that knot tied, I can cut above that knot and get rid of that extra warp thread. Okay? So watch it again. I've got to do it 3 times on the loom this size. Now, if I make a loop and I go through the loop and I pull it and my knot is way too high, I'm just going to try again. This time I'm going to hold on to that loop while I pull so that that knot gets way, 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 way down here by the weaving. And then I'm going to pull it nice and tight and I'm going to cut above the lowest knot. Make sense? And this is how you're going to take it off the loom. Now, if you tied it correctly, you have a set of 3 at some point. Whoops. There's a set of 3. Okay? It's the same as the other knot. I'm just doing it with 3 strands instead of 2. I'm going to make a loop. I'm going to put the end through the loop. I'm holding on to that loop and pushing it down, pushing it down. The knot is tied tight, and I'm going to trim it like that. Okay? The other end is just going to slide right off like that. Okay? Take the name off of this one. Now look how nice the inside looks. There are all the little knots. And there's the nice smooth front side. So I'm going to stick this on the back. Okay? Any questions about that? You can ask or just simply play the video again.